Hello and welcome to This is Nigeria, Unlocking Her Potential. Now this is the program that showcases Nigeria's investment and development opportunities across the length and breadth of Nigeria. And our special spotlight today is on the creative industry. Now Nigeria has harvested a lot on the creative industry. Through Nollywood, music, we've gone global, and the Nigerian brand is right there to be harnessed. But a lot more still need to be done. Then COVID happened to us. Our train was moving very well. We were selling, but every sector of the economy is, however, affected right now. So we're looking at what creative industry is going to look like post-COVID. My name is Mayowa Uluwabi. Don't go away. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Nigeria, and the conversation is on the creative industry. And to speak extensively with me on the program today, well, I actually have a real-life prince in the house, Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim, the chairman of Next TV, and you'll find out all about Next TV in due course. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And seated next to him is Cally Ikpe, the president of the Nigerian Music Video Awards. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So let me start with you, Cally. Can you give us a retrospective insight into the evolution of the creative industry in Nigeria?
Okay. Entertainment in Nigeria in the beginning was entirely leisure and was non-commercial. The coming of the colonial era, however, introduced some kind of technology as our people tried to copy the Western style, and gradually they began to fuse both cultures. Say 50s, 60s, 70s was largely music, and it had started evolving into an industry loosely do. Remember, it was not quite an industry, we were just having fun. I mean, someone play music and the other people would respond and were happy and were going. This was in the days of Fela, Anikulapo Kuti, Chris Okotie, Sonny Okosun, and many others. The industry took a dive at some point, remember, and it went like, what was going on here? Then our preference, our taste, our preference for Western music, boom, to the roof high. But somehow, gladly, the likes of Majek Fashek, Raz, Kimono, Mandator, and others restored interest to the local flavor. But it seemed like piracy was denying the artists of the much deserved revenue. This was dangerous. By the 1990s, there was a lull again, but theater and drama was now beginning to gain ground. By 1992, Nigeria had its first movie, Living in Bondage. And you can say Nollywood was birthed as an industry. My role in all of this was that I consciously promoted Nigerian music videos, because remember when it was played back in the days, juxtaposing music done by Nigerian music, by Nigerians, music videos, with that done by the international counterparts, only elicited pity. That was unfortunate, but somehow some of us believed in the system and we kept pushing it until it got to a point where Nigerian music videos can compete globally with just any music video in the world today. The industry is worth about $4.5 billion, and I'm informed that in 2 years' time, that's in 2023, it could have gone up to like 10.5 billion.
You've done Nigeria proud in terms of projecting the brand.
Yes.
Now, let's now talk to people who know the business side of it.
Okay.
How much more can be leveraged on the creative industry in Nigeria? I'm coming to you, Prince Malik. Hollywood is assumed to have grossed so much. Is that the best we can? Are we really maximizing the potential of that industry?
Well, I think brand Nigeria has so much more to give all over the world.
Okay.
We are, for all intents and purposes, the fulcrum of attention when it comes to the music and the creative arts in all senses. But we are still passengers on a platform that does not belong to us.
Wow.
The distribution method for our media is being held by parties that do not have our same passion. So we are not given the necessary exposure to be number one on anybody's list. If in order to be number one, you have to own the platform, which is where I think that the Nigerian movie industry and the music industry is going to have to develop itself, which is the reason I'm in this business, to be very honest.
Okay.
I see the platform that we are on, whether it's Apple or Spotify or any of the other for the music industry, or to look at now companies like DSTV or Netflix, or the distribution through DVDs. It does not do our industry any service in any way, shape or form. We're still the narrators of our content, but we are not the presenters of our product. So that always gives us a disadvantage.
Okay. So what can we do to readdress that?
I think for us at Next TV, we realized that two things needed to happen. We needed to own the platform. Nigeria needs to own the platform. Next TV is set up to do just that. And we decided to use a different type of format, not to go old school, but to realize where's the future and what's coming to us. And it's when you look at companies like Netflix, and what they've done in the last 5 to 10 years. 10 years ago, there was no Netflix. Netflix now has 160 million plus subscribers globally. That's a company that is listed on the NASDAQ now because it has done so well. But in doing so well and opening the digital space, and that's where we need to be, companies like HBO and Disney have gone and taken their content off Netflix and created their own platform for distribution. And that's the model that Nollywood needs to take. We need to own our own content and distribute through our own system.
On our own platform.
Absolutely. Nothing about us without us. So we need to have the platform. And then the rest of Africa can key into it. There are Africans in diaspora. There are people who are now looking at this whole Black Lives Matter and trying to understand our culture. We need to narrate our culture, but we need to own the content and the distribution method, which is, I think, the strength that Nigeria will have going into the future.
And that will create a whole value chain.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt. As Cally had mentioned, it's the quality of what you saw 10, 15 years ago is very different from what you see now.
Yeah.
Production values are up, people are doing things in a more mainstream manner. We're not cutting corners, but it comes at a cost. If the quality is improved, then the quality of the content creation is also improved. If you get more money into the production, it'll be because you're selling it better. And then the values that people get, better sound stages, better lighting, better audio, better, everything better. So our values will go up. I think our content doesn't need to change because Nigeria and Africa has its own story to tell. We don't need people jumping off Burj Khalifa and doing Mission Impossible. We want Mission Possible. We want to see everyday life, and that's what's unique about Nigerian movies.
Cally, what's your take on Malik's brand's new idea?
You see, Malik is obsessed with the new normal. Yes, the virtual world. Agree, we're going to make. He's excited at the great prospect it holds. I am excited too. Why this is cool, we must ensure it is not carried out to the exclusion of the digital migrants. Remember, it's not everybody that is IT savvy. A lot of money is going to be made, yeah, but even while we make all of that money, be sure not to throw some people into the labor market. Well, no, we are headed out, but the interregnum must be catered to. Between here and there that we want to get to, what would have happened in between? Nobody should be thrown into the labor market, I insist. The virtual world, the digital world is great, but we are better off if we combine human contacts as it should, and it should be a win-win for us at the end of the day, seriously speaking.
Okay, let me put you on pause, then we'll go on a short break.
All right.
We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back.
No nation depends on one source of revenue if it wants to create a sustainable economic development and a future for its citizens. Countries have all grown and sustained their respective economies through non-oil exports, and Nigeria Export Promotion Council, NEPC, is strategically positioned to do more on 22 priority export products under the Zero Oil Plan, the One State, One Product Initiative, and the Nigeria Diaspora Export Program, which are needed pillars of success in our economic recovery and growth plan. Invest in non-oil export business such as sorghum, cassava, yam, shea nut, ginger, and reap bountifully. Export business guarantees a prosperous future through inclusive wealth and job creation. Join hands to make Nigeria one of the top 20 largest economies in the world. Export business, tomorrow's business. For further inquiries, visit nepc.gov.ng.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Nigeria, and the conversation is still on the creative industry and post-COVID-19. What are the possibilities, and what is the current status of the creative industry in Nigeria? And I still have with me this erudite gentleman in the studio, Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim and Cally Ikpe. Cally, you were on the last bit of your discourse.
If I may respond, I think that this is a quandary that not just Nigerians, everybody around the world is going to have. What does post-COVID entertainment and sports and events, what do they look like? As you said, there's some stats that we should be very clear about, and this is about Nigeria and this wonderful country that we're in. When it comes to looking at the distribution of the digital penetration in Nigeria, one of the things I'm very excited about is that we have a young population. That 18 to 40-year-old is the bulk of the Nigerian population. They're internet savvy, they're technology savvy, they're digitally minded. And I believe that when I was referring to old school, if you look at terrestrial television and the development to digital terrestrial television and to DTH with companies like DSTV, the next step hasn't been had yet, and that's where my company has decided to come in. We're using the digital crossover now to encourage Nigerians to be digitally minded and to infect these people with these digitally minded people with the right kind of creativity, knowing that a platform can carry it. And I give you a very clear example of that. DSTV, as big as we know it, has only got 5 million subscribers in the whole of Nigeria. It's a country of over 200 million people, but there are 125 million smart devices in the country. You look at companies like NTA, as big as they are, one of the biggest television companies in Africa. They can only reach 40 million television households. But MTN can reach 80 million people with their telephones. 9Mobile, our partners in digital penetration in Nigeria, can reach 16 million subscribers. These are people who have this device in their pocket, so media can reach them instantaneously. That is where Nigeria is going to be going, I believe, with the music business and with the movie business, where creativity, like with Netflix, can be shown on the move wherever we go. And that's what's going to change the way Nollywood works. Nollywood is only scratching the surface as far as I'm concerned.
With $4.5 billion?
With $4.5 billion, we haven't touched anything.
Wow.
Because even 10 is nothing, because you need to understand some very clear specifics that we're not doing. Netflix is not a movie company. It's listed with 160 million subscribers that are watching Netflix, subscribers. So where are we with Nollywood? That's a company that's in the tens of billions of dollars of worth. That's a company. We're an industry here that is only at 4.5 billion. We haven't done what is needed, and that's the platform. Once we have the platform, then creativity strives. People have the intellect. Nigerians are one of the smartest races. We don't even this whole US debate about Africans and everything else that we're looking at. Look at the education level of Nigerians. I'm so proud to be who I am. I kind of flaunt that out to people because our education level is high, but we are not presenting programs like this. Should be on the air globally.
That's true.
You cannot do that with the old school technology. The kind of technology we're bringing in with OTT allows somebody in Los Angeles or Perth, Australia, to be able to say, oh, I want to watch Mawa today, I want to know what's going on in Nigeria, and be able to reach that on a Nigerian platform. And the Nigerian industry should be able to benefit from that interface. Okay. But right now, you make fantastic content, it's shown, and then it sits in a box. And we need to change that, because you are the platform that exposes Nigeria, and Nigerians need to expose themselves with the talent. We see the negativity, but we never see the positivity. But when you are the narrator of your own product, you can project that globally. And so we need to be in control of that medium. And that's what I think we need to do as an industry, whether it's in our music sector or the movie sector, or even just in programs such as this. We need to be in control of the narrative and take it out to the rest of the world.
All right, Cally, what's your take on that? What, you want to react to it?
I'm inspired. You just got the word out of me. But I think, Malik, generally, we should tread cautiously, just so we're able to take everybody, carry as much people as possible along. I see leaving too many people behind as a very big problem, and that way you're going to push too many people back into the labor market, not having an idea of exactly what it is that you need to do. So the kind of sensitization that I think you should be requiring now, it's a more conscious one, using the same devices that you said. Yeah, people use telephones, but it's not everybody that is able to use it to create the whole world with themselves. Some just use it for calls, but you can have particular specific ways that you can use to, drive the narrative, convert to this new world, this new normal. I insist the new normal that you want it to get to. And I guess you can't even wait to see this begin to happen. Yes.
Well,
yes.
We're actually seeing it happening. If you look at the COVID situation, people are sitting at home, and what do? Kids are on PS4, they need the internet to connect. Young men are looking at programming around the world on a digital network. So we're very excited about the fact that when you look at what Nigeria is with the creativity in any form of art, we haven't even talked about sports. We have players playing in the Premier League and we need to see them, but we haven't been able to see them for years. We as a company, Next TV, bought the rights to the Nigerian Football League because we understood that the NPFL had a quality product. Nigerian soccer is at a level that people have never seen before. We are challenging the world. So we bought the rights in order to take that, put it on our network on OTT, and have access. Now, the digital access doesn't leave people behind. And I'll explain that in two different ways. The companies like Techno realize how good Nigeria is, how big this market is. They even assemble the products here in country. Smartphone penetration is massive in Nigeria. You're not understanding it from the point of view of the gentleman that's buying data. Look how cheap data is compared to the rest of the world. England is more expensive than Nigeria. Yes, you might look at it as far as penetration is concerned, but it's still around $2 a gig. England is about £3 a gig. The countries like Equatorial Guinea is almost $70 a gig. $70, you couldn't do it.
It's our earning power, generally. It's not comparable. The cost there may be relatively higher, but they're able to afford this all of the time.
Okay, now that you've mentioned power, that's a major problem.
Yes. So
you want to talk about how you want to tackle the power problem?
Well, if you look at the simplicity of it is this. If you look at power, if you're sitting at home watching television and the grid goes off, your generator needs to come on in order for you to watch that television. On an OTT network, all you had to have done was have charged your phone. And it's because of that, you've got freedom, you've got mobility. I can watch whatever program it is I want to watch. I can watch whatever Nollywood show, sitcom, on the move, because I've stepped away from power. Now, we as a company understand that the power situation in Nigeria is also a reflection of where our industry is. Everything is expensive. To have this show in this wonderful studio allows you to do this because you're confident that if the grid goes, your generator's on. In fact, you probably came on the air with the generator on, not allowing for the grid to take the power away from you. So these are things that in our consciousness, even making a movie is related to this issue. You must move with power. And that's where I'm convinced that in digitalizing Nigeria and its content, this digital economy does not need government. And if I was trying to expose Nigeria to Nigerians and say, look, our fourth industrial revolution in this world is digital. It is claiming the digital airwaves. It's creative content. It's behind the camera, is in front of the camera, is writing content for that camera, is having that mindset to expose what is ours. We don't need to talk about our history. We need to create our history going forward, and it's a different one. Our young men today are looking for that energy inside, and you can't get that through, farming. As much as we want to eat, we need to be innovative in so many different ways. And we're seeing that even this COVID situation, look at what happened with companies like Jumia. Everybody was buying online. People were delivering food by ordering online. As much as you think that the digital space is empty, you used it somehow during this COVID period for connectivity, and whether it's a FaceTime or a Zoom call or calling Jumia to deliver your food. We went digital without thinking about it. And
but that's urban Nigeria.
Yes, but you know what? Once you see the model in urban Nigeria, it spreads. Viral, you can get something on WhatsApp today and you can get it in your village within the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
We're going to make that, and that's where the industry is going to be. In the steps between urban and suburban, people are going to create value along that chain, whether it's setting up internet cafes or places you can go, or viewing centers. All you need is data and a screen, and you've got a viewing center. You don't need a dish on your house anymore. You don't need a dish to watch a football match. You can go to an urban center, and that's business for somebody who's sitting in a village that wants to watch a Premier League or what Warri Wolves play.
All right, I believe that Prince Malik has a lot to say if we let him. We have to bring this to a close. But I'm inspired. Cally, what do you think?
COVID-19 has changed everything, but we must tread with caution. I'm happy government recognizes that the industry needs to be supported, hence the setting up of a committee by Lai Mohammed, the information minister, recently, charging them to go forth and find out just how much the pandemic has affected the industry, I mean the entertainment industry, with a view to preferring solution and seeing how some sort of stimulus can be provided. I know some people are doubtful as to how that's going to come out, but we need to keep talking about it just to, if anything, at least we would have succeeded in keeping government on its toes. So that's very, very fundamental.
Malik, in a nutshell, what do you have to say to Nigerian youths post-COVID?
Well, the world is our oyster. We have one of the most incredible visual economies in the world. We're third in some ratings, second in some ratings as far as Nollywood's concerned. Our music business is thriving. There's money to be made. There's adventures. We have historical things to write about, whether it's our mythology or things about our past. We have, as digital citizens around the world, we have a story to tell as Nigerians, so we must do that. I don't think government needs to be involved in the digital economy. I believe they have to give the enabling environments. They must give the laws that are necessary. But this is about creativity. We don't need government to interfere. If they could and they would, they will have done it before. They've had
some interventions in the past. I don't know where it landed.
But anyway, as we said, government should not be involved. They should be private sector driven, okay. And we need to give the opportunity for creative minds to sit and meet together and create that foundation that is going to be that digital economy that rivals the oil industry and the gas industry and everything else that Nigeria is famous for. So I'm very buoyed. I'm investing heavily in the infrastructure that's necessary for this to happen. I've got a fantastic team of Nigerian young men that are focused on this, okay. And we'll do great things.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Cally Ikpe.
Thank you.
Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim.
Thank you very much.
Those are the game changers that have arrived on the creative industry space. And we're very inspired, we're gingered, and I believe the youths of Nigeria should key into this platform as quickly as possible, because this could be the new normal and the new level for post-COVID-19 in Nigeria. My name is Mayowa Uluwabi. Thank you for watching. God bless Nigeria.